Tonight at 6, fans on campus cheered for their favorite teams last night at a watch party for the Super Bowl. What students have to say about the game and halftime performance.
Kent's annual chocolate walk took place over the weekend, and our very own Abby Forbes has the details.
The Great Salt Lake in Utah could be fully dried up in 5 years. What scientists are saying could be the solution and how it could impact the rest of the world.
Rihanna's halftime performance left us all speechless, and not just because of her vibrant red coat. All these stories and more as TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good Monday evening, Portage County, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alexandria Manthey.
And I'm Natalie DeSantis. Tonight we start with a recap of the biggest game in football.
That's right, our very own Sydney Brown spoke to students who attended the watch party on campus. Hi, Sydney.
Hi guys. For one of the biggest televised events of the year, Kent State students celebrated the Super Bowl at the Tahini restaurant in the Student Center, and I witnessed their reactions to all the surprises.
The Super Bowl gives people the chance to get together with something for everyone, and this year, the matchup was celebrated at the Student Center.
It's a really good opportunity for us to be first serving the Kent State community for people watching the game.
And students showed up for Tahini's atmosphere and the food.
I was just kind of looking around and I saw this sign and it was pretty nice. It was like, oh, free. It was like a free food and football game, and I sort of just like, woo, okay. And I saw two of my friends down here, and that's the reason why I stayed.
I came to Tahini tonight so I could watch the Super Bowl and eat good food.
Mostly because my friends were here, and I like watching the Super Bowl commercials.
Well, they have a lot of TVs. I knew I'd be able to watch from like a whole bunch of angles, and the food was really good.
I decided to come because it's a Super Bowl, and I always watch with my family, but I'm from DC, so, you know, I'm in Ohio, so I wanted to have like a lot of people here and kind of feel like that home feel. And also my girl Rihanna is performing, so, you know, I had to see her too.
Like Yeshi, most people were not here for the game, but for the halftime show.
Commercials and the halftime show. I want her to open with all of the lights, but I know she's not. Or run this town.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm here for Rihanna because it's been a minute since she's released music or performed, so hopefully she opens with Man Down or Love on the Brain. Those two, if she does, it's absolutely gonna eat, and I'm excited.
And they were not disappointed with Rihanna's performance. But there were some people who were still excited to see how the game turned out.
Since they started doing like more betting and stuff, my dad put some money on this, so hoping for the Kansas City Chiefs to win. They're not doing too well right now, but we'll see.
The Kansas City Chiefs would go on to win the Super Bowl 57, but for more highlights from last night's game, stay tuned for your full sports report later on in the show. Reporting for TV2 News, I'm Sydney Brown.
Thanks, Sydney. The movie White Noise has become a reality for some families in Ohio. Many families in East Palestine acted as extras in the film about a family moving away from airborne toxic fumes. Now this is their reality after a 5-car train derailment. One resident spoke to CNN saying he tried to rewatch the movie but couldn't get through it. He said, quote, all of a sudden it hit too close to home.
Residents of and near East Palestine are concerned about the safety of the water after the train derailment that spilled a variety of hazardous chemicals last week. There have been numerous reports of dead fish found in creeks that run through the site of the accident. Though a representative of the Ohio EPA has made a statement that they are aware of the water conditions and that it is safe, many locals are refusing to use the water until it is tested and are using prepackaged water in the meantime.
With Valentine's Day around the corner, it is the season of chocolate hearts, and Main Street Kent got a bit creative with some of their chocolate treats over the weekend.
That's right. They had their annual chocolate walk, and TV2's Abby Forbes has the details.
Main Street Kent hosted their annual chocolate walk on February 11th.
We love chocolate, so we wanted to get a chance to peek in at all the different shops and restaurants downtown Kent.
Tickets for the walk are sold in advance, and this year 250 tickets were sold at $30 a piece with an optional boozy upgrade for an additional $5. So on the day of the walk, ticket holders arrived at the Venice Cafe and Erie Street Kitchen to pick up their chocolate walk passes, bags, and maps.
Once they check in here, they'll go back to the table to get their chocolate-covered strawberry provided by Erie Street Kitchen, and then they'll head out and spend the afternoon collecting the rest of their chocolates.
30 businesses participated in the walk, each providing their own unique treats.
I can't wait to find out what kind of chocolate treats they have for us. We just had a chocolate strawberry at the Venice, and oh, it was delicious.
So we're actually doing some cake pops. We're doing some plant-themed ones.
I know they have to be a little handmade, and vegan marshmallows feel like the best route.
And participants not only got to try these treats all day, but they were also entered in a raffle sponsored by Squirrel City Jewelers.
This year he decided to do diamond stud earrings for our raffle prize. So everybody that buys a ticket gets one chance to win.
And although this is an annual event for the town, it is a new experience for some.
We have a few new businesses that have recently opened downtown, so it gives those folks a chance to get some people through their doors automatically.
It's a great opportunity for folks to learn more about those shops and the restaurants and to support local.
But it wasn't just the new businesses that were looking forward to this opportunity.
People don't even know we're here, even though we've been here 11 years, and the same could be said for many businesses in Kent.
At the end of the day, businesses new and old shared the same idea about this event.
It really brings the community together. It gets people out of the house. The local businesses get business, which is great.
Reporting in Kent for TV2 News, I'm
Hi, good evening, Portage County. I am Noah Rowe, and it is time for your Monday night weather forecast. Starting things off, we're going to look at our temperature currently in Kent. We are sitting at 48 degrees, but it feels like 42. The dew point's at 20. We got wind, pretty windy, 19 miles an hour, 27% humidity. That's pretty low, and our visibility is at 10 miles per hour. Now, moving on to what the weather is going to be looking like tonight and into tomorrow, we have at 8 p.m., we're going to be sitting again at 42 degrees, not what it feels like, but what it actually will be. And at midnight, we will be at a nice 34 degrees. And into tomorrow morning, we'll be seeing 30 degrees. But don't worry, because moving on to what the weather will be like tomorrow, it's going to warm up pretty quickly. It's going to get to a high of 55 degrees. We're going to have those winds from the south or the southeast at 9 miles an hour. It's going to be a mix of cloud skies in the morning. It's going to get a bit cloudier later on in the day, though. And that is, unfortunately, all the weather time we have for the moment. But I'll be back later on tonight to fill you in on weather across the state, as well as your 7-day forecast.
Supergood, Portage County's first medical marijuana dispensary, is due to open in Ravenna in 3 weeks. The store will be located at 554 North Chestnut Street and will have various security measures put in place to keep safety a priority. These measures include a vault made of concrete where most of the products will be held, and man traps to limit the number of people in the store at once. Supergood is blazing a trail for Portage County dispensaries, and others are expected to follow.
FBI Special Agent Blaine Wetzel has wrapped up his testimony in ex-Ohio House Speaker Larry Householder's corruption trial. Householder is accused of masterminding a scheme to use $61 million primarily from First Energy to make himself House Speaker in 2019. A defense attorney for Householder conducted a second day of cross-examination of Agent Wetzel on Friday. He said he sought to demonstrate that evidence intended to show Householder acted corrupted, but actually indicates the opposite, that what the speaker did was business as usual.
Case Western Reserve University went into lockdown after a suspect with a gun was reportedly seen on campus. The campus community was ordered to stay in alert and in place around 5 p.m. after the suspect was seen on Euclid near university hospitals.
All campus buildings are card access only at this time, and anyone not on campus is urged to stay away. Anyone with information is asked to contact investigators.
Another unidentified flying object was spotted and shot down over the weekend. What officials have to say.
We have the developments on the war in Ukraine. Learn how Russia's recent rocket attacks are affecting soldiers.
From an award-winning student news.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back. Moving away from what's happening here in Ohio to current events overseas.
That's right. Our correspondent Skylar Edington has the latest in technological advancements in China and how it may affect us here at home. Hi, Skylar.
Yes, there has been a lot going on with a new form of artificial intelligence that could be potentially dangerous for the U.S.
First time we've seen footage of an entirely fictitious fake person used in a politically motivated influence operation. This particular set of videos was promoted by an operation that we call Spamouflage, which we've been tracking since at least 2019, and routinely amplifies narratives that align with Beijing's strategic interests.
A new way of spreading misinformation has taken place as AI-generated newscasters are surfacing. These AI bots are called news fakes. When you first look at them, they appear as normal news anchors, but if you look close enough, you will see that their voices don't align with the movement of their mouths. A recent discovery has also shown that the information being released aligns with Chinese messaging. A recent Ukraine report has shown that Russian forces have a high rate of rocket attacks on the front lines throughout the east. Officials stated that there were nearly 24 attacks carried out within 24 hours, with the main targets being cities in Donetsk, such as Bakhmut. Ukraine has also mentioned that their energy infrastructure is being continuously struck. Elon Musk has stepped into the war against Ukraine as his company Starlink has been recently used as a helping hand. Musk wants to limit Ukrainian access to SpaceX technology to avoid conflict that could potentially lead to World War III. Ukraine had been using Starlink as a communication tool between troops on the front lines as they continue their fight against Russia. For more stories like these, go to KentWire.com. Reporting for TV2, I'm Skylar Edington. Back to you guys at the desk.
The fight over Social Security and Medicare is escalating after President Biden hammered the Republican Party in his State of the Union address. Though the party urged him to let up and to stop saying that Republicans want to get rid of retirement programs, Biden made similar claims in Florida. The irritation coming from the GOP is expected to escalate the fight on Capitol Hill and during the 2024 presidential election.
The U.S. military shot down another unidentified object Sunday at President Joe Biden's order. According to the Pentagon, the craft was flying at 20,000 feet, this time over Michigan's Upper Peninsula, when U.S. fighter jets took it down. This is the fourth unidentified object shot down over the U.S. in the past week. The White House defense official said there was no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial life. Residents in New Zealand's largest city of Auckland are being told to brace for more heavy rain and flooding. Some homes are being evacuated as Cyclone Gabrielle nears the country's coast.
Gabrielle is forecast to move close to the east coast over the next 24 hours. States of emergency are in place in Auckland and at least 6 other regions. But for weather here in Northeast Ohio, we have our own Noah Rowe.
Hi, thanks guys. Welcome back to part 2 of tonight's weather. We're going to start things off with temperatures across the northeast of Ohio. So we are going to take a look over here. As you can see, our highest temperature for the day. It's a bit of a race to see who's going to get that. We have a tie between Canton and Youngstown at 49 degrees. Our coldest temperature of the day is going to be in Cleveland. That is going to be only at 42 degrees. Moving on to temperatures all across the state of Ohio, we're going to be seeing another pretty tight race for that top spot. Athens and Cincinnati both tied with 54 degrees as our highest temperature, with up here near us in Akron as the lowest at 49 degrees. Finally, moving on to our 7-day forecast. I know everyone's excited for this one. We're going to be having a pretty warm week ahead of us. 55 degrees tomorrow, 66 on Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to be at 56 degrees, and it's going to be stormy. However, the great news is for you sunshine lovers, at 6 o'clock, the sun will set, giving us full sun for the entirety of our 5 o'clock hour. It's going to get a bit colder on Friday, going down to 28 degrees, but we're going to warm right back up with a 44 and sunny day on Saturday and 50s all throughout the rest of the week. That is all the time I have for you guys tonight. Enjoy the warm weather, Portage County. I've been Noah Rowe.
The Great Salt Lake in Utah is drying up. Some scientists say it might disappear altogether in less than a decade. It hit record lows in recent months, exposing around 800 square miles of lake bed. But all that could still be saved with some emergency measures, including new legislation when it comes to water conservation. Many experts believe what's happening there is a microism of what's expected to happen to the planet.
The 43rd Annual Islands Ice Fishing Derby in Vermont was canceled last minute after 3 fishermen died as a result of falling through Lake Champlain, where the championship takes place. Wayne Alexander died on Thursday after falling through the ice, and brothers John and Wayne Fleury died early Saturday morning when their truck also broke through. The Grand Isle County Sheriff's Department enforced a cancellation of the event, effective immediately.
South Dakota is set to ban nearly all forms of gender-affirming treatment for transgender minors. Governor Kristi Noem plans to sign the newly approved bill when it arrives in her office. It will prohibit anyone under 18 in the state from receiving sex hormones or puberty-blocking medications. The measure also bans sexual reassignment surgeries for minors. Supporters say the purpose of the bill is to treat gender dysmorphia with mental health counseling. Critics say the government should not intrude on medical decisions.
A daycare facility in Miami, Little River Daycare, is facing criticism after a teacher had her students paint their faces black to celebrate Black History Month. Parents were outraged, and the director of the daycare released an apology and stated that teachers and staff have been met with to discuss ethical and multicultural educational points in order to make sure that this does not happen again. Despite the school's efforts, many parents have pulled their children from the daycare.
Rihanna lit up the stage last night in her Super Bowl halftime performance. She even had a special guest on stage, but not the one you may be thinking of.
Coming up on your TV2 Sports Report, we'll be giving you an update on local Kent State athletics and highlights from Super Bowl 57. Stay tuned for more after the break.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
Good evening, everyone out there in Portage County. Dom O'Brien here to bring to you your sports report of today's newscast. Starting off, the Golden Flashes wrestling team won their final matchup in a dominant fashion over on Senior Day this past Sunday against Bloomsburg. Tyler Bates, Jake Ferry, Mason Karpinski, and Cody Kamara all won their Senior Day matches. Ferry had a commanding victory, only allowing his opponent, Bronson Garber, to score via the escape. A bonus point was awarded to Ferry for his major decision victory. The MAC championships will be played March 3rd to the 4th at George Mason in Fairfax, Virginia. The Kent State men's golf team began their spring season today at the Hall Williams Collegiate in Mobile, Alabama. This 2-day event at Magnolia Grove Crossings golf course included 15 different schools, including number 5 ranked Illinois and number 23 ranked Kansas State. So far, the Golden Flashes are in 9th place, while Arkansas reigns at 1st place, posting a combined score of 16 under. Cade Burtonstein shot the lowest round for the Flashes today with a 2 under 69. This match will continue tomorrow at 8 a.m. We're going to kick it over to the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni crying there over the emotional Chris Stapleton national anthem. But we're going to get started over in late second quarter action. 4 yards out, Jalen Hurts able to run it in. This is one of 2 rushing touchdowns he had in his historic performance. Later in the game, Kadarius Toney trying to return a punt return. And why are we showing you this? Because this is a Super Bowl record for the longest punt return in Super Bowl history. He took it all the way down to the 5-yard line for the go-ahead Kansas City score to bring it 35-27. Jalen Hurts now getting his second rushing touchdown of the day. 2 for 2, 35-35. But then there was a controversial call later in the game, a holding call on Juju Smith-Schuster. Pat Mahomes calling it out, puts the Chiefs in field goal range as Harrison Butker kicks it through the upright for the victory. 38-35, the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is your Super Bowl MVP. That is all I have for you tonight. Make sure you tune in later tonight for a new episode of Sports Corner, and make sure to follow us on all social media at TV2 KSU Sports. I am Dom O'Brien, and have a great night in Portage County.
History was made and homes were found on Sunday at the annual Puppy Bowl.
We keep expanding. Every year we get a bigger roster. Our airtime grows and our audience grows. It's 122 adoptable players represents 67 different shelters and rescues across the country. That's over 34 states. It's our biggest roster ever. We even have the most amount of special needs dogs ever.
While many people will watch the Super Bowl on Sunday, another big game also took place. The 19th annual Puppy Bowl kicked off on Sunday, and it was historic. For the first time ever, the contest went into overtime.
That's right, Team Rough had trailed Team Fluff for most of the game, but tied it up in the fourth quarter. But when the final whistle blew, Team Fluff hoisted the Lombardi Trophy with an 87-83 victory. This year's event featured 122 puppies selected from 67 animal shelters and rescue centers across the country.
Oh, and another Super Bowl highlight, Rihanna performed the halftime show yesterday. She made a grand entrance dressed in head-to-toe red jumpsuit and flew high over the field at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. She and her dancers performed her hits including We Found Love, Rude Boy, Work, and Only Girl in the World, and Umbrella. Rihanna sparked speculation that she may be pregnant with her second child as she rubbed her stomach during one of the songs. Rihanna's representative later confirmed that the 34-year-old is indeed pregnant. Oh, well, look at that.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, that's super exciting. Did you guys watch the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, that was a good one. It was a great match. I loved every bit of it. And I'm just excited for the next regular season. It's 205 days. It can't come soon enough.
Days already.
Yeah, what about you guys?
I was able to catch bits and pieces. I didn't see the entire thing, but I tuned in for the halftime show.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't get to watch it this year. First year ever not watching, but
That's too bad. You know, I saw bits and pieces of it. Really,
me
I was
too.
really in and out. I did see a little bit of the halftime show, and her pregnancy. I was very
yes, super
intrigued.
exciting, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Halftime show was awesome.
It
I loved
was.
every bit of it.
Yes.
And you know, as a former competitive dancer myself, the background dancers absolutely, the choreography,
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Fantastic
Too
job.
true.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Very great.
Yes, well, that is all the time we have for you today.
Thank you for joining us.
For updates on all these stories and more, visit our website at kentwired.com.
And on social media at Kent Wired on all platforms. I'm Dom O'Brien.
I'm Noah Rowe.
I'm Natalie DeSantis.
And I'm Alexandria Manthey. Have a great night, Portage County.